everybody. Welcome to SoulSpace Podcast number 128.
Welcome.
Yay. Today we are staying with our theme of peace for the season, and we're going to do climbing the emotional scale.
Yes, because the holidays in the United States are just around the corner, and a lot of us are gearing up for those holidays. And for some people, it's exciting. For some people, it's stressful. For some people, it's both.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
There's tons to do, and you're up and down and up and down. And so.
And busy. When you want to be chillaxed.
Yeah, and maybe overwhelmed a little bit.
Right. Yeah.
And so you might be in different areas of the emotional scale right now.
Yeah.
So we thought it'd be a good idea to revisit how to climb up the emotional scale from wherever you're at so that you can be more peaceful, more calm, and enjoy more of your time this holiday season.
Yeah. Yeah. And, one thing to remember when you're in the middle of that busy time, everything's going to turn out okay. So don't stress about it. Try not to go overboard on things and just enjoy people, enjoy your family, enjoy the people around you. That's what it's all about.
Right.
And everything else will fall into place. So
exactly. Yeah. And as we know by law of attraction, the higher you are on the vibrational scale, which means the higher you feel on the emotional scale, the better the outcome will be anyway.
Right.
And things fall into place and come to you much more easily, more comfortably, more flowing, more fun, more delightful when you're in that higher vibrational space, because that's where they can meet you. That's the fun of it too. So it's like the more relaxed we are, the more relaxed our experience will be.
Yeah.
And so using the scale to get there is very useful.
Right. Yeah. So we're going to walk up that scale today.
Walk on up with us, would you?
And we're going to do, read about it on process 22 of our favorite book.
Ask and It Is Given, Esther and Jerry Hicks. If you don't have this book by now and you've been following us for a while, may I suggest that you do get it. No, we do not have a link. No, we are not selling this book. No, we do not get any money for this. But this is one of our favorite books.
Yes.
Helped us immensely in many ways and continues to this day. And so we'd like to share it with you because Esther and Jerry Hicks are amazing humans. One of them is still with us, fortunately.
Yes. Yes. Esther is amazing.
Yes. Love Esther. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we both figured, and you figured, why don't we do this all together?
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the actual process number 22. So we've talked about walking up the emotional scale and guided you guys through that before in our podcast. However, we thought it'd be a good idea to revisit this at this time of the year.
Yeah.
And really go through the actual process and how Abraham explains it to us.
Yeah, it's so helpful to know this, and we'll put a copy in the comments again, like we did before.
Of the emotional scale?
Yeah. We have a PDF file of it somewhere. So I'll find it and put it on there in the comments.
I have it on my phone if you can't find it. Okay. So. Remember, I have my files.
Oh yeah, you have your files. Maybe you can put it in the comments.
You know how useful that is to have.
Yeah, I do have files like that on my computer and on my hard drive.
Good.
So I should be able to find it.
Perfect.
Either way, it'll get there. It'll be in the comments, and you can download it and use it as much as you want.
We'll get it there for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's start a little bit about the process. Let's talk about it. I'm going to read for you guys. If you do have Ask and It Is Given, it's process number 22, moving up the emotional scale on page 293. So when to use this process? When you feel bad and are having a difficult time feeling better. When something has happened to you or someone close to you that has knocked you back on your heels, that is, someone died, your lover left you, your dog got run over, and so on. When it has been necessary for you to deal with a crisis. When you've been diagnosed with a frightening illness. When someone you love has been diagnosed with a frightening illness. When your child or someone very close to you is experiencing trauma or crisis. The current emotional set point range. So this moving up the emotional scale process will be of the most value to you when your emotional set point is ranging somewhere between number 17, which is anger, and number 22, which is fear, grief, depression, despair, and powerlessness. And 22 is the bottom of the scale.
Yeah.
So somewhere between anger and fear, grief, depression, etc.
Mhm.
If you are not sure what your current emotional set point is, turn to either on here, it's chapter 22, or we will have the PDF of the emotional guidance scale for you in the comments as well. So you can use that to figure out where am I at on the emotional scale if you're not sure.
Mhm.
So the contrast of your life experience has helped you identify your preferences and desires. And whether you speak them out loud or not, Source has heard each of your preferences and desires, no matter how large or how small they may seem, and has answered them. And the manager, called the law of attraction, has lined up circumstances, events, other people, and all manner of things to assist in the fulfillment of your desires. In other words, you have asked and it is given. But now you must let it in. Remember, there is no non-physical source of darkness, sickness, confusion, or evil. There's only the stream of well-being, and it is flowing toward you at all times. And unless you are offering resistance of some kind, you are the full receiver of it, and your emotions help you understand to what extent you are allowing or resisting the stream. In other words, the better you feel, the less you are resisting. The worse you feel, the more you are resisting. I think that's one of the most important points in this entire book.
Yeah, absolutely. And we just talked about it before we started when we at the beginning. Yeah, you're putting out that vibration. That's what you're bringing in, no matter what it is, good or bad. You got to make sure you're putting out what you want to come back at you.
Right. And when you feel good, better, and best, you're allowing the well-being
Yeah.
and the things that you've asked for to come to you. And when you're feeling negatively, you're disallowing it. You're putting a block up that says, no, stop. I don't want my well-being and all the good things I've asked for.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what you're saying,
Right.
vibrationally.
And you don't really want to say that, do you?
No. In my experience, nobody wants to say that ever. No, don't give me all the things that I want in my life. No, don't give me health. No, don't give me wealth.
Yeah.
No, don't give me good, positive, loving relationships. No, nobody ever has ever said to us ever that that's what they want in their life.
No.
Never. Not once.
No.
Pretty sure you're not any different than the other human beings that we know.
Right. Yeah. So pay attention to what's coming out your mouth. And, the thoughts that you're thinking in your head, you can change them. It's your choice. So remember that and change it up.
Right. Think, maybe pivot or something.
Maybe pivot, yeah.
We may have talked about pivoting recently. Check out the other podcasts. You might find something about that. Anyway, I just think it's such an important point. In other words, the better you feel, the less you are resisting. The worse you feel, the more you are resisting. So just kind of consider that, mold that around a little bit.
Yeah.
And think about, okay, well, if that's the case, then how can I improve my circumstances?
Right. Yeah, very good.
And here's another way to do that. The process of moving up the emotional scale will assist you, no matter where you stand, no matter what you are creating, and no matter how you feel, to lower your state of resistance and therefore improve your state of allowing. And every feeling of relief will be the indication of a release of resistance. We want to help you understand that deliberate creation is really about deliberately achieving an emotional state. For example, when you do not have enough money, you want more. But we want you to understand that the distance you will be traveling is not the distance between not enough money to enough money, but instead is the distance between a feeling of insecurity to a feeling of security. Once you practice the thought that makes you consistently more secure, the money must follow. When you are sick, you want to be well, but the distance you are traveling is not from sickness to wellness, but from fear to confidence. Once you practice the thoughts that make you feel more confident, the physical improvement must follow. When you have no mate and you want to find one, the distance you are really traveling is from the feeling of being lonely to the feeling of excitement or satisfaction. Once you practice the thoughts that make you feel excitement or anticipation, the perfect mate must follow. You may say, I want a new car, but the universe's hearing is, I'm not happy with my current car. I feel embarrassed about my current car. I feel disappointed that I don't have a better car. I feel jealous that my neighbor has a much better car. I feel angry that I cannot afford a better car. You may say, I want to be well, but what the universe is hearing is, I'm worried about my body. I'm disappointed with myself. I'm worried about my health. I'm afraid that I will have a bad experience like my mother had. I'm angry that I didn't take better care of myself. You may say, I want to find another job, but what the universe is hearing is, I'm angry because my employer doesn't see my value. I feel bored. I feel unhappy with my current salary. I'm frustrated that I can't make them understand. I'm overwhelmed with too much to do. There is nothing that you or anyone else has ever wanted that exists for any other reason than you think that you will feel better in the achieving of it. Once you consciously identify your current state of emotion, it becomes easier for you to understand whether you are choosing thoughts that move you closer to your desired destination or further from your desired destination. If you will make the improved feeling or emotion be your real destination, then anything and everything that you want will quickly follow.
Yeah. I mean, what else can you say?
Right?
You know,
What else is there to
it's
say?
just the law. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seek continual improvement and you will see continual improvement.
Right. Yeah. And you just have to keep practicing. You know, it's not okay, today I'm done. Today I know how to do it.
Mhm.
If you keep practicing little by little, pretty soon it becomes effortless to choose better thoughts. You know, you don't even realize that you're doing it after a while.
Mhm.
And then you're like, wow, I haven't had a bad day for a while.
Yeah.
You know? And and when you do, it doesn't set you way back to the bottom.
Right.
You know, you can hit your little bumps in the road, but they don't make you fall to the bottom.
Right. The more you practice, the more resilience you have.
Mm-hmm.
And the higher your emotional set point is, so
Right.
that you don't have such huge ups and downs. You
Yeah.
have molehills instead of mountains, as I like to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's a really important point.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Something to think about.
It is.
We're going to talk about the emotional scale. Did you want to go here?
Sure. Okay. The following is the basic list of emotions, also found in chapter 22, beginning with those that hold the least resistance, all the way down to those that hold the greatest resistance. Whenever emotions have very similar vibrations, we have indicated them on the same line. These emotions range from the extremes of strongly allowing of your source energy to strongly disallowing of your source energy. And they are indicated by the words of empowerment or joy on one end of the scale, all the way down to the depression or powerlessness of the other end. The words or titles that have been given to these emotions are not absolutely accurate because different people feel different about emotions, even when they are using similar words. However, the universe is not responding to your words, it's responding to your vibrational offering that is accurately and always accompanied by your emotions. So remember that. Maybe there's a word that doesn't feel as yucky to you in the emotional scale, but to some people that's a really bad emotion.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more about the energy, and we talk about that a lot. Everything is energy. It's about how you're feeling about that, not so much the word, you know.
Right.
So always pay attention to that. Pay attention how words feel to you. How, you know, the words that you're saying in your head are the words that that are coming out of your mouth, how do they make you feel when you think about them? That's where you want to be. You want to know that so you don't perpetuate those feelings.
Right. Especially if you're trying to practice a better vibration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, so finding the perfect word to describe the way you feel is not essential to this process, but feeling the emotion is important. And finding ways to improve the feeling is even more important. In other words, this game is strictly about discovering thoughts that give you feelings of relief. So a scale of your emotions would look something like this. And I'm going to read the one that's in the book. Ours is a little more elaborate, like has more words on each step so that you'll know if it's not just one single word, it can be any of these feelings, kind of.
Right.
So,
It has a little bit more information to help you along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, number one is joy, knowledge, empowerment, freedom, love, appreciation. So that one in the book has a lot of words on it. And we kind of did that on the whole scale on our PDF that we'll put in. But in the book, they have just one word for the most of them, except the top one and the bottom. So number two is passion. Number three is enthusiasm, eagerness, and happiness. Number four is positive expectation and belief. Number five is optimism. 6 is hopefulness. 7 is contentment. 8 is boredom. 9 is pessimism. 10 is frustration, irritation, impatience. 11 is overwhelmment. 12 is disappointment. 13 is doubt. 14 is worry. 15 is blame. Now, just notice how your body's feeling right now as we're going down. Does it feel heavier? Mine does.
And it does.
Yeah, yeah. So 16 is discouragement. 17 is anger. 18 is revenge. 19 is hatred and rage. 20 is jealousy. 21 is insecurity, guilt, unworthiness. And 22, the lowest one, is fear, grief, depression, despair, and powerlessness. So feel that. Feel how much heavier you feel now than you did at the beginning.
Just thinking about those words.
Yeah, just hearing the words and feeling the energy of them. It gets you in a lower place vibrationally. So that's a good way to test things out, like reading that scale down from the top to the bottom. It's a good indicator. You can really feel it in your body. So try that sometime. If you're not understanding what we talk about when we talk about the energy of the words, just read the scale and you'll feel that lower vibration.
Right. Or even start at the bottom.
Yeah.
Like if you go to the top and go to the bottom, read your way back up.
Yeah, then go up. And we'll do that with the list.
We're gonna go back up, yeah.
So it's a good thing to practice because then you will know it for yourself. And when you notice it yourself, you're going to use it more because you can prove it to yourself.
Yeah.
If you're skeptic, like I am.
Yeah.
Skeptical about
totally.
Everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to prove it to myself before I believe it, So this was one thing that I noticed just practicing reading the list and when we were learning coaching, and it was like, oh, now I get it. I don't like that feeling.
Right. Absolutely.
Right.
And when you work your way up the scale once, you're like, oh,
yeah,
I see.
Yeah,
I get this.
Yeah.
This makes so much sense.
Yeah. So we'll go on a little bit here. Here's the way we would apply this powerful process. When you are aware that you are feeling some rather strong negative emotions, try to identify what the emotion is. Consciously think about whatever is bothering you until you can pinpoint the emotions that you are feeling. And you can print this list out and carry it with you, or take a picture and put it in your notes like Carissa does. And then you can just look at it, oh, I'm kind of feeling something's going on, and you can read the list and you'll know right when you hit it, oh, that's where I'm at.
Right.
So,
Right.
it's a good idea to always have it. I mean, I always have one with me too, and it's just a good place to figure you can always help yourself out of a sticky spot.
Right. Right. I like having it because it helps to remember the steps, and
Yeah.
I can like walk myself up it, because
Mhm.
usually if you're on a lower point of the scale, it helps to have something to guide you.
Yeah,
Because you might not always remember in the state that you're in.
Right. In the moment, you're just thinking you feel crappy.
Which is why I have it on my phone.
Yeah. Okay, so considering the two extreme ends of this emotional scale, you could ask yourself, do I feel powerful or do I feel powerless? While you may not actually be feeling either one of those emotions precisely, you will be able to tell which way your emotional state of being is leaning right now. So in this example, if your answer is powerless, then shorten the range that you are considering and ask yourself, does it feel more like powerlessness or frustration? Still more like powerlessness. Then shorten the range still further. Does it feel like powerlessness or worry? As you continue, there is no right or wrong approach to this. Eventually, you will be able to state that with accuracy what you really are feeling about the situation you are addressing. Once you have found your place on the emotional scale, your work is to try to find thoughts that give you a slight feeling of relief from the emotion you are feeling. A process of talking out loud or writing down your thoughts will give you the best reading of the way you are feeling. As you make statements with the deliberate intention of introducing an emotion that gives you a slight feeling of relief, you will begin to release resistance, and you will be able to move up the vibrational scale to a place of feeling much better. So we'll go up this scale in a little bit, and you'll be able to tell, where you're at and what the next step, how much that'll feel better when you can talk yourself into it,
Yes.
It's so fun.
Yeah, and one of the most important things, and I'm sure they'll go into it a little bit further, is to kind of go step by step.
Mhm.
And we've talked about this before. If you go step by step, it's much more vibrationally sustainable than it is to try to leap from one lower emotion to the highest emotion.
Right.
So if you go step by step, it helps you to gradually get up there, and it's much more sustainable, much easier to sustain as well.
Yeah. So remember, an improved feeling means a releasing of resistance, and a releasing of resistance means a greater state of allowing what you really want. So using the emotional scale and beginning with where you are, look at the emotion that is just about where you believe you are, and try to fashion some words that lead you more into a slightly less resistant emotional state of being. For example, a woman found herself in a state of tremendous resistance and pain because of the death of her father. Even though he had been seriously ill and this death was expected, when it happened, she found herself in the deepest depression. She felt powerless and grief-stricken in response to her focus upon the uncontrollable death of her father. During the days before her father's death, this woman had barely left his side, but he slipped into unconsciousness during one of the rare times when she was not with him, and he did not awaken again before he died. As she thought about not being there to have just one last conversation, tremendous thoughts of guilt washed over her. And while she did not consciously recognize a slight improvement in the way the guilt felt, it was a very It was a very important vibrational transition for her. And then her thoughts turned to a powerful anger. She focused upon the woman who had been with her father when she had slipped into unconsciousness. And she felt rage that this woman had given her father such a strong dose of medication for the purpose of making him more comfortable. And then she blamed the woman for having deprived her of that last conversation with her father. She did not realize it at the time, but the feelings of guilt, rage, anger, and blame were each definite improvements over her grief-stricken vibrational state of resistance. She did feel better in her blame, much better, in fact. At least she could breathe, and she was now able to sleep. Of course, it's always better when you achieve the improved state of emotion deliberately. But even in this case, when the improved emotions were discovered naturally and unconsciously, each improvement now gives you success to something even more improved. And that's kind of the stages of grief in this case too. When you're grieving someone, you're kind of in shock at first and feeling lost or overwhelmed or whatever. And then you hit that anger point always. And some people don't realize that that's one of the steps of grief.
Yeah.
And it's important to know those. And I mean, I was glad when I learned about it when my parents died. You do go through those stages, even if you don't realize you're doing it at the time, but you really do.
Yeah, and it's completely normal. And you might hit them at different points and go up and down between them.
Right. Yeah. And it's, everybody's different. Everybody grieves differently. So
it's not a linear process by any means.
For sure.
But I do like that they're giving an example of how you can go through the emotional scale with something like that.
Yeah. It's important, an important thing to know. They should teach you about that kind of stuff in life.
Right.
Before it happens.
Emotional learning?
Yeah.
Fascinating. Imagine that.
Yeah. Well, who'd have thunk? Yeah. So once you find the relief that anger and blame can offer from those suffocating emotions of powerlessness and grief, you can move even more quickly up the vibrational scale. And while it may even take a day or two to move up, and even one vibrational level from grief number 22 to number 21 guilt to 18 revenge to 17 anger to 15 blame, you can reclaim your connection to your source and to your feeling of empowerment in much shorter time than almost anyone realizes. So, that's another reason to know this scale, because when you're going through something really tough like that, you can get yourself out of it a lot faster than some people.
Right. And even if that day you work your way up to hopefulness.
Right.
That's a huge improvement from where you were at the bottom of the scale.
Yeah.
And so if every day you did this practice, then you continually move yourself up and up and up, and you spend more time in that better feeling place.
Right.
And that's a practice as well.
Yeah.
Because of course, if you're going through something like that, it's going to be up and down, up and down.
Yeah.
Whether it's something as strong as a loss, or it's something that's even as mundane as holiday stress.
Right.
All of them still are a stressor on our system, and all of them have the same application of moving up the emotional scale.
Yeah.
And it's very similar the way that you'll do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's cool to realize that, oh, hey, I can use that scale for this.
No matter where you're at, no matter what you're doing, no matter what has happened, you will have improvement if you use the scale to move up.
Yeah. So here's an example of conscious statements that this woman could have offered to improve the way she felt. I did everything I could think of doing to help my father, but it wasn't enough. That's grief. I miss him so much. I can't stand him being gone. That's another grief. How will I be able to soothe my mother? That's despair. Every morning when I awaken, the first awareness that I have is that Daddy is gone. Grief. I shouldn't have gone home to shower. Guilt. I should have stayed there so I could have told him goodbye. Guilt. I should have realized how close he was to going. Guilt. I was there day and night, and I still didn't get to say goodbye. Rage. The woman who was with him knew very well what was happening. Rage. How would she like it if the shoe was on the other foot and I put her father into a coma? Revenge. She had seen many people die, and she should have warned me that it was close. Anger. I think she knew and didn't want me to be there. Anger. She gave him more medication than he needed just to make it easier for her. Blame. I wish I could have said goodbye. Disappointment. There were too many details to attend to, and I don't really feel like doing anything. Overwhelmment. I've been neglecting so many things in my life. I need to regroup and get organized. Overwhelmment. The healthcare professionals are insensitive to the families of the sick and dying people. Frustration. They are more concerned about picking up the oxygen tanks than about how I feel. Irritation. It will be good to spend more time with my own family. Hopefulness. It will feel good to get back into the swing of things at work. Positive expectation. I know that it's time to get to feeling better. Positive expectation. I don't know if I'll ever feel the way I felt before, but I know I will feel better in time. Positive expectation. There's so many things to do, so many things that I want to do. Positive expectation. I'm so looking forward to smiling and meaning it and laughing and really feeling it. Positive expectation. I appreciate my husband so much. He's been helpful in so many ways. Appreciation. I do appreciate all these people who have cared for my father and mother. Appreciation. I appreciate my sisters. We all love our parents and we love each other. Appreciation and love. All things considered, we have lived and are living really wonderful lives. Appreciation and love. Death is part of life. Knowledge. Since we are really eternal beings, there really is no such thing as death. Knowledge. Daddy is gone because there's no such thing as death. Daddy is not gone, sorry, because there's no such thing as death. Knowledge. He's in a place where sadness doesn't exist. Knowledge. That is truly a wonderful place to be. Joy. I love knowing that he's in a place of utter joy and understanding. Joy. I so adore this glorious earth experience. Joy. I love knowing how all of this fits together. Joy. I love having this wonderful man as my father, or loved having this wonderful man as my father. Joy. This has all been good. Joy. This is all good. Joy. So remember, you do not have to access the emotions that are far from where you are currently vibrating. Although you may spend an entire day beating the drum of the emotion where you are, on the next day, try to establish a different set point, even if it's only a slight improvement. So, and that's another thing, always stay in that negative spot for a little bit and fully feel that. If you have to cry it out for a day, cry it out for a day. Just don't stay there forever, and don't try to jump from the bottom to the top.
Right.
But you got to get that out and recognize that you are in a dark place or whatever, you're in that spot. So feel those emotions, but don't get stuck there.
Right. And if you can just get from grief up to doubt,
Yeah,
you've made a major improvement.
right.
Or if you can get from grief to anger, you've made a major
Yeah,
improvement. So
yeah,
just think about, okay, I'm going to improve how I feel today.
yeah, yeah,
And it doesn't have to be all the way up the scale, but it could be
yeah.
however far you can get on the scale, whatever you feel like you can get to,
Mhm.
do that.
Yeah,
Just do that.
yeah,
Nobody would ever ask you to do anything other than your best, right?
right,
And
right.
that's all you're asking of yourself too, is okay, I'll do my best
Yeah.
to get as high as I can today.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll move on from there. And maybe tomorrow it'll be better, or maybe
Yeah.
it'll be worse. But every single day I'm going to try to improve how I feel, because I know that's going to improve my circumstances and where I'm at and
Yeah.
where everything goes from
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. So good. If the negative emotion you are feeling is slight, you will quickly move up the emotional scale. If the negative emotion you are feeling has begun only recently, you will quickly move up the emotional scale. If you are experiencing something extremely serious, or it is something that you have been living with for many years, it is conceivable that you can spend 22 days moving up the emotional scale, each day deliberately choosing the improved emotion just above the one that you are currently feeling. But 22 days from powerlessness to empowerment is not a long time at all when you compare it to people who have been in a state of grief, insecurity, and powerlessness for many years, right? So important to notice. Yeah. Now that you understand that your goal is to reach a better feeling emotion, it is our expectation that this process will feel you from troubling negative emotions that you have been experiencing for years, will free you, sorry. And as you gently and gradually release the resistance you have unknowingly gathered, you will begin to experience improvements in your life experiences in all troubling areas of your life. So good. Want to read that one last thing?
Sure. One last thing. Parting thoughts from Abraham. Be easy about all of this. You tend to take life so seriously. Life is supposed to be fun. As we watch you in the creation of your life, we feel only love for you and appreciation for all that you are. You are leading edge creators, sifting through the wonderful contrasts of this leading edge environment and coming to new conclusions that summon the life force forward. There are not adequate words to explain the value of that which you are. It is our powerful desire that you return to your state of self-appreciation. We want you to feel love for your life, for the people of your world, and most of all, for yourself. There's great love here for you. And for now, we are complete.
Love it. Okay. Yeah, so good.
So good. I really like the examples they give of how to move up, because it kind of tells you a real life example of how can
Yeah.
I see myself moving up. And each movement up is really just a statement.
Mm-hmm.
This is how I feel right now.
Yeah.
And moving yourself up
Yeah.
one step at a time.
Yeah. And sometimes it's just, yeah, I got a flat tire. So what? I got it fixed. It didn't, it's not that big a deal. It didn't
Mhm.
ruin my whole week.
Right.
You can walk yourself up like that. And, oh, well, at least it didn't happen when I was on the freeway, or, there's always a silver lining to everything that happens, really,
Right.
if you look for it.
Right. And there's so many things that you don't see.
Yeah.
That could be silver linings of the situation.
Right.
That you
Yep.
only see this little small part of it. You don't
Yeah.
see the before, you don't see the after, you don't see the ripple effect of everyone and everything around you. You don't see the bigger picture of how or why it happened.
Yeah.
And so if you think about that too, what is the big picture? Why did this happen? Well, I don't really know, but what I do know is that this is just a molehill,
Yeah.
not a mountain.
Not a mountain. Right. Yeah. Yeah. I just love the scale and using it. And you can, once you get good at it and you realize where you're at and keep checking in with yourself, you can just do it in your head and you're up that scale in no time.
Right. And that's what I do.
Yep.
If I'm
Me
really
too.
down there, then, I might pull up my phone to remind myself of, okay, where am I going from here?
Right.
What are the statements? Where am I going to start with my statements? And then I can easily move back up, right?
Yeah.
But figure out where you are. And that's the thing about knowing your emotions. Some people aren't as familiar with knowing their emotions, but by using the scale, it can help you identify where you're at.
Yeah.
Where am I at, generally speaking? I can narrow that down. And then once I have that general area, pick the bottom one and say, okay, I'm going to move up from there.
Right. And a lot of times when you look on the scale, you're probably not down as deep as you really are. You're probably about, oh, look, I'm almost to the middle already.
Right. You're probably in disappointment.
Right. So it's not so far to go ahead,
Nope.
go up a little bit.
Not at all. A lot of people sit in boredom and feeling stagnant.
Yeah.
And feel like that's the most awful thing. That's only number 8 on a scale of 22.
Right.
And that's actually such a good place. You're on the cusp of
the
moving to
good.
something better.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of times that's just kind of like a holding pattern.
Yeah.
And you can easily break out of that. It's just about deciding to do so and starting to move yourself up the scale.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I tell people all the time, boredom is a good place to be.
It is.
Because it's a time that's saying, come forward.
Yeah.
We're waiting for you to move forward. Your life is waiting for you to move forward. Let's go.
Yeah.
And you're going, I don't know.
Let me just sit on the couch for a minute.
Yeah, it's like, sometimes there's a good time to sit on the couch, and sometimes you're like, get your butt moving.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's time, sit in that for a minute, but then get up and get going.
It's like the alarm bell going off. It's like, let's move.
Yeah.
Move it or lose it, friends.
Yeah. Yeah. So
But there is no loss. It's about moving. Just move.
Right.
Get going.
Yeah.
It's a better place to be.
Yeah. Don't swim in it for too long when you're feeling.
Right. Yeah. Because remember, momentum is a thing. The longer you sit in a negative emotion, the more momentum is on that. And the harder it can be to move out of it.
Right.
So the faster you catch yourself, the faster you know where you're at, the faster you begin to move up the scale, the easier it will be.
For sure.
So just think about that. If you've been in the doldrums for a while, it might take you a little bit of practice to move yourself really out of that space.
Yeah.
And that's the normal thing. Don't expect yourself to be like, okay, I went and did the scale once. I'm fine forever.
Yeah.
I mean, if that was the case, we'd all be feeling great all the time because we've done the emotional scale a million times.
Yeah.
But it does improve how you feel. And it does give you the practice of practicing moving up. So then it becomes almost automatic or sometimes even automatic to move yourself up the scale. You don't even realize you're doing it.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. I noticed that a lot of times. You'll just talk yourself right out of it.
Yeah. And I do that to myself.
I do too. A lot.
I did that yesterday.
Yeah. 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 It's good. So I think that's it.
Yeah. So if you guys have any questions about the emotional scale or how to move up it, or you just have general questions about anything that we have ever talked about, feel free to leave us a comment. We love to hear your comments. We want to hear about what you want to learn about. We want to hear about your questions. We want to know what you're thinking. So feel free to share that with us.
Yeah. And if you have a favorite subject that you want us to cover in the new year, let us know.
It could be anything.
Yeah.
If we don't know anything about it, we'll tell you. But if we do know about it, perfect. Maybe we hadn't thought about talking about it yet.
Yeah. So, Carissa, where can we find you on the wonderful world of Webbers? Change it up a little
Change
bit
it up a
today.
little. Well, you can find me on Facebook at Light of Hope Healing, which also has my Square site, which is light-of-hope-healing.square.site. Light of Hope Healing is a bunch of dashes in between .square.site. Don't ask me why that's my website.
She'll change that one day.
One day
I'll get her to do it.
So that is, you can find us collectively on Facebook at Our Soul Space. You can find us here on YouTube at SoulSpace Podcast. And yeah, that's it for me. Tracy, yours is a little simpler. Why don't you share that where people can find you if they
You
want to know?
can find me at inspiredsignals.com. All my links are there. I'm on Facebook and Instagram. I have a studio site that is Inspired Signals Studio. And my other stuff is Inspired Signals.
Yeah, Inspired Signals. All across the
Easy.
board. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
Yep.
One day I'll get there. We're on our way. We are on our way.
Yeah. Yep. So have a nice holiday week. What day is tomorrow? Next week?
The 23rd, I think.
Okay, we can still do it that
Yeah.
day. Okay. We'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week.
I mean,
for
we would
the-
anyway, but we might have recorded it on a different day.
Right.
But
For the holiday week, we shall be here
Yeah.
to visit with you and have a wonderful time.
yeah.
So come and see us next Tuesday, and we'll see you then. Until then, keep moving up that scale. You've
Yeah.
got this. We believe in you.
Yeah, we do. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.